I think from the Sherrone Moore point of view, you have to look at his failures as well. He failed, if these things are true, he failed his family. Yep. He failed the young men he was in charge of leading and coaching. And he also failed a community of coaches who would love to follow him to get an opportunity to coach at a historically great university like a Michigan, to be amongst the names of the Yost and the Schembechlers and the Lloyd Carrs. That was the opportunity that he had that he failed at. And we also have to think about this young lady who was a subordinate and what these accusations or what these actions will do to her for the rest of her life. And so now if you're Sherrone Moore, who was the first African-American head coach at the University of Michigan, there's also a community of coaches that would love to follow in your footsteps that will be partly judged because of your actions. He does have to own that. He does have to, at some point, acknowledge that. He has to be held accountable for that, whether these things are true and someone was after him or not. And so if you're Michigan, you're truly coming from two head coaches in a row, in Jim Harbaugh and also Sherrone Moore, that has let the university down in some way. It is not the level of excellence that we expect from that position that has a responsibility. You know, in Romans 3:23, right, it says, all have fallen short because of sin and fallen short of the glory of God. So Sherrone Moore will be and will have an opportunity to be given grace by his family, by Christ, but he won't get a Bobby Petrino rebound, right? He will be treated like Mel Tucker. He will be treated like Michael Haywood, who in 2010 was supposed to be the next head coach of the University of Pittsburgh. So I just don't think we could skip over how serious this situation is for Sherrone Moore and the decision-making, this situation he put himself in. And so going forward, you can't just bring in a coach that's great at X's and O's. You need to bring in a leader of men. You need to bring in a man that these young men can look at and model certain aspects of their life afterwards. And I don't know who that is. Is it a Jed Fish from the University of Washington who turned Arizona around? I know I heard the name Brian Kelly being floated. He absolutely should not be the next head coach of Michigan. From everything you see of Kellen DeBoer, even if he's not winning the amount of games you want him to win at Alabama, he carries himself in a way where that is someone I would want my son to play for. And I think when you're looking at finding this next head coach, it's not as simple as how many games can we win. It's who can change the perception of the sort of person we are picking to lead young men into the next chapters of their lives.
Blah, blah, blah. Ryan Clark gave us a lot right there. Let's talk through it. In general, y'all know I have an issue with Ryan Clark when he does that. Okay? I know I've said that 1,000 times. I was 1,001. I have an issue with Ryan Clark when he race baits. And beat it up in the comments. Some people take issue. One of my boys takes issue with the word or phrase race bait. And I'm like, why? Only people I know that got a problem with saying race bait are people who race bait. Like, what else am I supposed to say? But I would say it whatever makes you feel happy, whatever makes you smile, boo-boo. But this is race bait. Why? Why in the hell do you think what Sherrone Moore did represents all black coaches? What? What do you think that all black coaches are sitting there looking at Sherrone Moore and saying, man, he messed it up for us? Only those with an inferiority complex or only those who are still going through mental slavery are thinking in those terms. If you're thinking like that, if I'm talking to you, if your response was that, then you still got the cuffs on, bro. You still got them on. It's okay. We can help take them off. Because guess what? What Sherrone Moore does is nothing like or nothing representative of what Marcellus Wiley does. Just like what Ryan Clark does and race baits is not a representative of you or me. That's what he does. The true freedom comes from the fact that you have all of this independence going on, right? Not the monolith. The fact that you can do whatever you do and it's not a grander reflection on you. And I mean you all, the you plural. But man, there is a faction of black people, Ryan Clarks, that think that what he did is representing us. So now I got to walk around with a little shame until this scandal goes by because they thinking that me. If I'm a black coach and that happened, I'm like, this is how you think. This is a winning mentality. This is a free mentality, not an enslaved mentality. If I'm a black coach and he just got all this scandal and all this happened on him and on his watch, I'm looking like, damn, that's messed up. Opportunity. What do you think the white coaches are thinking? It's a job in Michigan. See, when you enslaved, you start thinking, oh man, that's gonna hurt us. Ooh, they're gonna come down hard on us. Man, I could go all the way with it. NASA gonna look at all of us who are coaching and think, are you shitting me? So somebody black fails out of Columbia, I'm thinking, oh, they're gonna think all black kids are dummies at school, so I should. You know, white kids fail out of Columbia every day. You think they sitting there like, oh, you know what they say? Oh, there's another slot. There's another opportunity. Talking about there ain't no Bobby Petrino rebound. It shouldn't be a Bobby Petrino rebound. Not because of his color. It's because of the content and the context and what he went through in extent in responding to what he did. Bobby Petrino got caught cheating, Stafford, motorcycle accident, took his L, rebounded. If this story with Sherrone Moore would have ended with him getting fired and we heard nothing else, no kicking down the door, no breaking and entering, allegedly, no weapons, no suicide watch, no incarceration in the same day you get fired, there is a rebound for him, black or white. What? And stop comparing them, Mel Tucker. What you mean? They ain't the same coach, so they ain't gonna have the same rebound. This is where you get lost. This is when you got the wrong mentality. You stuck. You're just like, oh God. The only thing you got in common with Sherrone Moore and Mel Tucker is their color. The hue of their epidermis. That's all you got. Are you, what? This is the stupidest thing ever. And I warned y'all. People think I'm a hater. People think, oh, Marcellus. Man, look. I have went from extremes in this world, like extremes of poverty, welfare, food stamps, the hood, to the Ivy League. I don't understand when y'all don't respect that journey. I don't understand. Y'all don't understand the culture shock, the social shock, the academic shock that I went through. It's like, what is this? Oh, there are people walking around here, all colors, black, white, all colors, who are like, I'm going to be successful, and I'm going to be successful with my brain over my body. That was a complete 180 from the same people I grew up with of all colors who were trying to be successful with their body and not their brain first. I went to a school where they really were saying student athlete, but I grew up, everybody was an athlete student. Then you go to the league and I'm like, I see white, black, everybody getting it and not getting it. I got a black teammate that get cut. You think the organization looking at me different now? Oh, you know, you black players. You can't make it make sense. Now, people are out there obviously saying ESPN, they try to put this on ESPN, and you can't, because they enable them, they give them the platform. I don't like going to that place because I just want to talk to Ryan, right? And I don't want Ryan to think that his words go unnoticed. Like, Ryan literally is still locked up. And this is the worst part. You actually, in an attempt to help your people, are doing a disservice and the worst thing you can to your people by telling them no matter how good you are, how great you are, no matter who you are, you better watch the one who has that opportunity that has your same skin color. And if they fail in that, damn it, you're doomed to fail. What? Well, okay, Ryan, you're right. So that means since Jay-Z is a billionaire, guess what? I'm next. He's black and he did it and I could do it. Y'all heard me before talk about representation. I love representation. You know what I love more than that? Being a pioneer. I ain't know anybody that went to Columbia, didn't give a damn. Didn't care, didn't even ask. Are there any black people here? I am. As soon as I show up, I'm here. All right, well, black people here now. Of course there were. But who in the hell is leading with, is there someone else like me with my same skin colors so I can feel comfortable? I feel comfortable everywhere I'm at. What the hell? Man, Boy, when I be in them classrooms, I'm the only one. I'm like, ooh, I'm special. I'm special. I ain't flipping it up. I ain't changing it up. I ain't sounding different. I ain't acting different. I ain't scared either. The hell, Sherrone Moore, he tricked it off. He messed it up. Okay, he dropped the bag. You mean he dropped the bag for other black coaches? Man, stop. You're too smart to be that. You're too smart to be that. You got to do better, bro. You got to be better than that. But look, that message ain't coming into this household. It ain't. And then when it does, it's being combated with, are you kidding me? We're going to talk logically through this. Are you kidding me? So Ryan Clark, if you no longer at ESPN going forward, that means if you have some issue happens at ESPN, they fire you because they say you race baiting. You trying to tell me some next black broadcaster need to be like, oh, they looking at us all like that. And people always joke, we got CTE. You got CTE, me, I got CTE. That critical thinking evaporated. That's the CTE I hear. Critical thinking evaporated. Just to be liked. Fuck being liked. What do I care about being liked? What you want? You damn algorithm, you're a walking algorithm. Do you like what I just said? My people, you got your back. You ain't got my back. And if you got my back, why don't you get my front? I don't need your, no, skip from behind me, fool. What are you talking about? This is the most ignorant shit that keeps occurring. Stop, mute the mics. Okay, ESPN, I'm gonna hold you to the fire right here. Mute the mic whenever he goes into that violin of race. Stop it. Not that race doesn't matter. Not that racism doesn't exist. It's just he is not educated enough to speak on these issues with that loud a megaphone. Like, I am absolutely correct. It's not even like close. And this is the stuff, if you really go back and study, you want to go back and study some of the people that I know you guys have studied, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, but how about Thomas Sowell? How about some others in there, right? Right? If you really want to get smart, because people try to discredit you, you don't know. I'm like, all right, I do know this, that when something bad happens to me, it doesn't have to represent you. It doesn't, unless you think it does. So whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you are right. I think it cannot. If I were a coach, and I'm not a coach, and I never want to be a coach to that level, but if I were a coach, I coach right now 10-year-olds, okay? I coach basketball for 6-year-olds, and I coach 10-year-old football, flag football. But imagine if I were really a coach, like a great high school coach looking for the next job, or a great college coach trying to get up to the University of Michigan, and he loses his job. If I were James Franklin, this is how you prove it. And all of this happened 2 months ago. And Sherrone Moore and the girl outed him, woke up one day at about noon, and she was like, man, forget this. This relationship gonna get exposed. Forget this fool. And all that happened. Do you think that James Franklin ever had a thought in his head that, oh man, they may not look at me because Sherrone Moore ruined it for a black man in Michigan? I can hear the handcuffs. I can hear the handcuffs on your head still, big dog. It's unreal. It's unreal. Martin the veteran says Mirror is colorblind. You ain't lying. Cats just don't want to look like that. They don't want to look at it like that. They want to look out the window and say, see, that's the problem. Instead of looking in the mirror and saying, ooh, it's old me.
Let me put you on to something that's part of my daily routine now. VINIA, not a powder, not a pill.
It's the Daily Chews 2X formula. And yeah, they taste good too.
It's plant-based. No stimulants, no crash, no jitters, no banned substances, no junk. It's Informed Sports certified. Just something that actually delivers. Link in description, vinia.com/Marcellus. Discount code Marcellus10 for a 10% discount. Wow.
It's been a decade plus that I knew that this day was going to come.
Oh, this is not hyperbole here.
Because I believe the verse.
Time to hydrate. Hydration's the situation, so.